If you're looking for the latest in hotel, restaurant, and retail technology, stay tuned right here to Tech Advisor Media. Hi, this is Rob Grimes with Tech Advisor Media, and I'm sitting here with Kulasooriya, the CEO of Leapset, and also Dawn Fitzgerald, the Senior Director for Sysco Ventures. Now, we're here at the NRA show, and I'm sure that a lot of people are going to be thinking about, why am I sitting in the Sysco booth talking about technology? So who would like to start? Dawn, would you like to tell me why I'm sitting here and why there's something called Sysco Ventures?
Technology is changing in the restaurant industry, and Sysco is about helping their customers succeed. So Sysco is out there looking at and acquiring value-added services to add into the fold. Mani, would you like to add to that?
But clearly technology is
focused to help the restaurant industry.
Okay, great. So Mani, what's your role in this?
Sure. So Leapset is a wholly owned subsidiary of Sysco. We are building a technology platform specifically for the restaurant industry and only the restaurant industry. We're a Silicon Valley-based company. We have 3 different product lines today, and the idea is over time, hit every single area of technology within the restaurant industry.
So can you be specific of the 3 lines of what you're building right now?
Sure, absolutely. Our flagship product is a cloud-based point-of-sale system. The second product is called Leapset Insights, which is essentially a restaurant-focused credit card processing product. And the third product is Leapset Guest Manager, which is a front of the restaurant waitlist guest manager, soon reservations product.
So, I've been to Sysco food shows before, and you've had partnerships under the iCare program, I think it was, right? You've had partnerships, and you've had point-of-sale vendors and partners who are doing CRM and all kinds of different things like that. So what is it that takes Sysco into the market to want to develop and own its own technologies, especially in the area of point-of-sale?
I'll take that. So point of sale in restaurant and outside is going through a revolution. If you look at the point of sale market, although there are some big players out there, it's still a highly fragmented market, and there's 2 reasons for that. One, legacy technology and the cloud technology services that are coming into play is changing that. Second is the level of hand-holding required by your typical small business, which means you need to have this, deep distribution channel. So we believe that the product and technology focus of a company like Leapset, together with the distribution power of Sysco, can change that to create a market leader that's going to benefit the restaurant industry.
Okay, now Sysco has, in the supply chain side, you have ordering systems that your customers use that will update back office systems that the customers have as well. You're not going to abandon that strategy of working also with the customer's own systems.
No, not at all. I mean, Sysco Ventures is predominantly focused on the front of the house with the consumer in the restaurant, but then we also have different aspects of Sysco Corporation that's looking at the back of the house, trying to help the connection between the customer and Sysco. So we're not abandoning from the online ordering for the restaurateurs into Sysco.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges in the past was actually that integration between the back of the house and then the broadliners and the supply chain, where sometimes the inventory and ordering systems or the pricing systems that you were using were not in fact integrating with the back office systems that the restaurateurs or the food service operator was using. But today it's really different. I believe that your systems are now really working with all of them.
We are getting more and more integrated with all the systems, and even with Leapset eventually we will be more tightly integrated with Sysco and their apps and products or solutions that we offer.
So who's the target audience for Leapset? I mean, is there a sweet spot? Is there a certain number of units? Is it for the individuals and the regional players, not the national chain? What's the target audience?
Absolutely. So there's about 1 million restaurants in the U.S. 7 out of 10 are independents, and our focus is that independent.
Is going to be to fill the gap on the independent side.
Absolutely, because these are the folks that we believe need to evolve from a technology standpoint the fastest, and we see a gap in the market there, so we're going there first.
Now, you mentioned credit card processing in there as well.
Yes.
Obviously a very big area and a big need of support. A lot of the state associations, also, and the National Restaurant Association itself do alliances in this area, and yet they also do alliances with Sysco. So How do you see yourself playing with the state associations who are obviously very focused on that? Are you going to have partnerships with them as well?
I'm not qualified to answer about the associations because, frankly, I don't know about the associations or how that works. I can tell you a little bit more specifically our approach to the product, which is we feel like the credit card processing systems that are available out there today are not restaurant-focused systems. For example, as far as we know, there isn't a single processor out there that actually brings in a settlement crew on a Saturday so that you can settle your sales on a Friday and a Saturday so that the money can potentially be in the bank account on Monday. Most restaurants do a large amount of their sales over the weekend. So one of the additions we've added to our product is essentially something like that. And that's one example of many. So what we're essentially building with credit card processing is a product that is differentiated, specifically targeting restaurants.
Okay. So, clearly there's a target market, and I suppose nobody has the distribution or the feet on the street to be able to get out to that set as Sysco does. And I guess with the acquisition of U.S. Foodservice, or the merger of U.S. Foodservice in there as well, that gives you additional, reach, and bandwidth as well. So, is it your plan that you will leverage those feet on the street and those relationships that you already have to bring this in?
Absolutely.
Well, for Sysco, today with solutions and services, we are leveraging our feet on the street, and that is our go-to-market strategy. We will expand from that, but today we are leveraging our MAs that are out there on the street. They are helping us along with our solutions and services.
Right. What other kinds of things? So, it's Sysco Ventures. I'm sure they're not all technology ventures. Are there other things that you're involved in?
So we have the traditional eye care, the partnerships, strategic partnerships too.
So that doesn't go away?
That does not go away. But with Leapset and with Guest Manager, those were two that we, as Mani mentioned, that we did acquire. So they are obviously a deeper relationship than the traditional eye care partners.
Okay, and the Guest Manager side, can you just talk about that?
I'll let Mani talk about that.
Sure. So the Guest Manager product is essentially a new way of doing waitlist management, right? So today we don't overlap head-on the reservation side of that, which is a market led by OpenTable, but a vast majority of Guest Manager solutions are essentially people walking in without a prior reservation, and today maybe using something as simple as a hockey puck pager.
Right.
And what we're giving them is a more sophisticated solution that is a two-way communication based on a device, ideally an iPad on the merchants, on the operator side, and a phone, a smartphone on the consumer side.
But you're really an application developer, so you're really hardware agnostic.
That is
you don't
correct.
really care what the
That is
device
correct.
is. It's about cloud-based computing.
That is correct. We are first and foremost a software company, and that's where our expertise lies. Now, in POS, while we started developing our product on an iPad, we did evolve into developing our own hardware because we came to the realization very quickly that the iPad is not the ideal device for a POS specifically for restaurants.
Well, it isn't because of the connectivity to other peripheral devices as well.
Correct. For the most part, it's because of the instability of wireless connectivity, Wi-Fi connectivity, as well as the smaller form factor of the screen.
Okay. And in your development strategy, your roadmap for the next couple of years, what is on your roadmap going forward? You started with these 3 sets. You've mentioned some other things that you're going to focus on.
Sure.
So what's the roadmap?
So the way we believe the consumer, the end consumer, looks at the restaurant market is in the following cycle, right? The first portion is discovery. Then you go into a reservation or arrival, and then you go into ordering, payments, and then finally there's a retention component, and you go through this cycle over and over again. So our plan is we have a platform today that cuts across all those areas. Our plan is to have a product or multiple products in each of those areas.
Right.
Some of those products will be built by us, some would be owned by us via acquisition, and others we would either invest or partner with.
Okay. Now, Dawn, you talked about that the strategy here and taking a look at Leapset is really a front of the house strategy, right? So it's the customer acquisition, helping Sysco's customers to bring in more, more patrons, right? More guests. Okay. So, Sysco obviously is in a very competitive market itself, for customer acquisition, of the food service operators. So, is your model here that this is something that they will buy as an incremental add-on product, or is this something that Sysco will give them to help them to manage their operation and then keep them a very loyal Sysco customer going forward with a product that you've actually given them to use?
Today, most of our solutions are subscription-based models today. So it is in addition to the food on the back of the house. So
right.
Today it is, and we are, today we are not just giving it away. So it is subscription-based.
Great. And in your portfolio of where you see things moving forward, what's on your roadmap in addition to what Leapset is doing? Are there some other technology things on your portfolio that you're thinking, maybe you saw them here, that you're thinking about adding?
Well, we're always looking. I would say. And then predominantly we're focused on Leapset and having them help us build the technology that we need, that we think. Could there be another acquisition? That's possible, but today we're really focused on Leapset and getting that out to the market. I don't know if you want to add to that.
Yeah, let me add to that, and the previous question too, right? So there are two challenges that we have that we're addressing. The first is, building products that are incredibly simple to use, right? So we come from a consumer product background, and that's one of our expertise. The second piece is, if I were to use POS as an example, right? When you put a point of sale device inside an operator, you get an incredible amount of data and intelligence. So we know everything that's happening in that restaurant, from what are they selling, what are they not selling, who's their best
owns
customer,
the data?
et
Does
cetera.
the customer own the data, or does Sysco own the data?
Absolutely the customer.
Okay.
So the customer owns the data. Cisco has no right to the data unless the customer is willing to opt in to say, you may use our data to help us with our business. So which comes back to the two areas of focus that we have, which is, the first is building products that are dead simple to use. Second is helping the customer improve their business. And that's fundamentally where we're taking.
Is that an education process though internally in Sysco? Because when you think about somebody who's out there on the street, selling the supply chain, it's different than selling technology. But also, when I was using Sysco as a restaurateur, we had people available to us, like an executive chef who could help us to manage our menu or take a look at menu design and things like that. So how do you take the traditional Sysco operation and services like that and get them up to speed where they're able to utilize the data and tools that are coming forward to better help somebody design a menu? Is that an education process? Do you have to hire from the outside for that?
It's a daily.
Yeah, I'm going to address a bit of it, and I'll hand it over to Dawn. I'm going to address the flip side of the question, which is the education. We're a 3-year-old company, but we're now a little bit over 200 employees, so we've grown incredibly fast. And I'll tell you that we really had no clue what we were doing from a restaurant standpoint. We knew how to build technology, so the education process for us.
So why did you decide to get into the business?
Well, that's a very, very heavily weighted question. The quick answer is that there is humongous opportunity for improvement in this market. The technologies that are available to the independent restaurant today are subpar and too expensive. Right?
Okay.
So it was a big learning curve for us. But in many ways, we now also have the challenge of taking Sysco through the technology learning curve, and we're doing that, and I'll let Dawn address that.
Okay, so the challenge on the Sysco side.
So it's new, right? So in our MAs are predominantly focused on moving the groceries. So it's hard, and we do need to educate the MAs, and we also need to educate the internal folks at Sysco more about the technology and how to get it out into the hands of the operators, and how to use the data, as Mani was mentioning earlier. Every day we're trying to educate them on our offerings and how that can help them and benefit them inside Sysco as well as the customer.
And I'm going to guess that Sysco plays a big role in educating the operators themselves, because the target market you're talking about here, a lot of them, really are still today, not very sophisticated in the use of technology, or at least the use of the data that you're collecting on this. So there's really an opportunity for Sysco to continue its market leadership in providing that education as well.
And they do that through our business resources. That's a big part of what the business resource teams do. They bring the customers in for business reviews, and they go through every aspects of their operation, whether it's their menu, from their menu to the way they're buying the food, to our solution. So we are a part of that package now, and lot of opcos are doing about 1,000 reviews, every year. So, and they're bringing every aspect to that customer to help them succeed is really what it's about.
Well, I think it's a very good plan. I think that Sysco is a rather unique company in its market positioning, geography, as well as customer base. To be able to do this, I'm personally very glad to see you guys getting into it, because it isn't like the old days where I was going to the fairs and I'm like, okay, where's that?
Who do I
How
pick?
does this all tie together, right?
Well, it's like a one-stop shop.
Right.
From delivering your groceries to helping you, better be successful.
When you want it,
Yeah,
when you want it.
absolutely.
And I think you sort of have the answers across the board, and so it's good to see. First of all, it's good to see Sysco making the investments in it, and it's good to see also you working with partners who clearly have a focus and expertise, in making those things come to fruition and add value for, the operator in the end. So,
Absolutely.
I want to thank you very much for allowing me to come into the booth today and take a look at this, and also I greatly appreciate the fact that I was able to walk by and say, hey, what's this new with Sysco? So I think this is great.
Right, thank you very much.
Great, thank you. So for Tech Advisor Media, this is Rob Grimes in the Sysco booth.